So I'm going to let you kick us off. I've teased a little bit in the show that we're going to talk about leadership in 2023, the correlation between relationships and results. And you are the expert on this, so I know there's going to be so many amazing places we're going to go with it.
We're going to have fun.
We are. So tell everyone a little bit about your background and what you do.
Sure. So thank you, Whitney, and I appreciate being here this morning. And I have lived in Atlanta for over 40 years, and I'm not a native. I married a native.
Yeah.
We moved down here from upstate New York back in 1980 and have been here ever since. Grew up in Marietta and went to school at Georgia and go Dogs back to back, and did my MBA at Emory as well. So really my background is I'm a husband, I'm a dad to two young men, one 18, one 10, and just having a ball living in Johns Creek and Alpharetta area. My professional background is I've spent most of my career in the world of professional services, so everything from recruiting and talent acquisition to HR, benefits consulting, eventually risk management. And now, I'm in year 4 of Lionheart Partners, which is my own firm, and we specialize in leadership development and executive coaching and business advisory work.
Yeah.
So just having a great time doing it. I'm 50-something years old, and I'm part of the gig economy now.
Nice, yes. Well, how did you make that shift to leadership? Because I know being a parent will certainly do that for you. But what made you decide, okay, I've got these skills, I've kind of learned these lessons, and now I want to invest in other leaders? Because I feel like as executives ourselves, we can get too close to the problem, right? Where we can't see actually what the solution is.
Certainly. It's interesting, after spending over 2 decades in a corporate career, I had a chance to step away from that career for about a year, and we did a mid-career gap year or sabbatical, I guess. And when we got back from the sabbatical, I had a chance to sit down with a friend of ours, actually a mutual friend of ours, who just asked me a lot of questions about, hey, so what do you want to do next? Because I knew that going back into the corporate world was an option, but I wanted to try something new. And to his credit, he was just asking me a lot of questions about, hey, tell me about the work that you've done across your corporate career. And it turned out that all roads were leading back to, I've been in leadership development all of my career. I've been in executive coaching all of my career and just business advisory. And his push and his nudge for me was, hey, well, what if you did that on your own and still serve the marketplace doing that and still tap into some of the skill sets that you have that you're strong in? And I thought, well, it was almost like imposter syndrome took over at that point, because I got tangled up with, well, those people are, they have certifications and they've got other qualifications and all that. And he just sort of shook his head. He's like, no. He said, you've got just as much game as they do, but you've been doing it for somebody else for all of your career. Why not try it out on your own? And to his credit, really kind of helped launch Lionheart Partners, really to have a focus and an anchor around those 2 areas of leader development and coaching.
Yeah. I definitely want to get into the relationship and the results piece.
Sure.
Because, again, just how, speaking of the gig economy, everything has changed and continues to change. I feel like many of us are still moving through our day decisions, the way we interact with others at the speed of lightning. And others, I feel like, have really grasped this, need to slow down and appreciate people. A lot of the articles, I feel like maybe 12 months ago, everything was about the Great Resignation. A lot of the things that I'm reading now are about protecting, investing in the people who have stayed, who have shown that loyalty to your company and investing in those individuals, because essentially they almost become like your brand ambassadors.
Certainly.
In the office.
Certainly.
So let's dive into that, because I feel I was going to ask, what's the number one problem that you see leaders facing? But I would wager that's probably one of your answers.
Well, it's probably near top of the heap right now, because you've got what's been interesting over the last 24 months is coming out of pandemic conditions, you had certain parts of the economy that are still white hot when it comes to recruiting and finding talent. And I would argue that even today, at an unemployment rate that's under 4% in nationally and in most places, that's still a low number. Even in the midst of us hearing about Amazon, PayPal, Intel, some of these other organizations that are just going through a regular and natural cycle of business. But unfortunately, what's hitting the news right now is thousands and thousands of people are getting laid off. The reality is there are still some markets and some industries that are still desperately trying to find great talent. And the companies that I work with, one of the biggest worries that they have is, tall trees attract a lot of wind. And when that happens, our people are always going to be at risk for getting poached by a competitor, getting poached for another opportunity. So how do we put our arms around them? How do we put a bear hug around them? Whether it's through financial means or whether it's through just creating an employee experience that's so compelling that makes people think twice before jumping ship, even if it is for more money.